What's up, guys? On the Fly is back for our Tuesday update. I don't know if I put Wednesday. Yeah, make sure I put Tuesday update. My days are kind of running together. Hope everybody's doing good. We hadn't done an update in a while. The last couple of weeks, man, have been kind of cuckoo. Um, Between stuff going, 1 week my air conditioner went out. Got that straight. Next week, something happened with my daughter's car. Got that straight. So, knock on wood. So far, nothing this week. Knock on wood. Does not tempt fate, but we hadn't been on here in a while, and we have been hard at work behind the scenes of On the Fly and the Final Score. We are doing some interviews, guys. We just put out our episode last week with On the Fly with Flint Adams, which was a great. Flint was a great guest, um, and this week we'll be putting our next episode on the fly. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag who that is yet. Um, but we've done some interviews and we've got some shows coming up that we're going to work on as far as we've got some shows scheduled and some interviews scheduled that should be pretty good. I think you guys will like. Um, I'll just say this on the Final Score, the sports sides, and all you people out there that are just here for the music, don't like the sports, plug your ears. But I did get a chance to talk to yesterday. This was pretty cool for me. Uh, he was a quarterback, 3 year starter at a much heralded program in college football, um, and a number two pick in the NFL draft. And I mean, just a nice guy, really great guy. Once I get that up, you guys will see who it is. But I was pretty excited about that yesterday. I got to talk to him yesterday for about it was about an hour, and just man, and I got to thinking about it today. I've had a chance to interview. I mean, yeah, there's people that I want to interview that I haven't interviewed yet. There's a lot of people I wanted to interview that maybe a really big name that I've interviewed. But man, I've interviewed some pretty great people so far. Um, from who I was talking about to you know TV stars. Uh, I was thinking about it today. J. Anthony Frankie from California Dreams took a chance. I mean, this guy was lives in Australia, and we worked out a deal. I mean, he didn't know me from Jack, and said, "Oh yeah, I'll do it." No problem about that. And whenever I messaged him, asked him to do a bumper for the show, he did it, and he did no questions asked. He did it. Just and who would ever thought me sitting there as a kid watching that? Well, I was a teenager, but watching that show that would happen. I mean, it's surreal. It really is surreal to know I've interviewed a lot of these people, and I'm going to be interviewing a lot more people. I'm steady working on. I'm trying to get my foot in the door as far as getting some interviews, and I hope I'm doing a good job. I hope you guys are enjoying the interviews. Hope you guys are enjoying it. If you got any comments tonight, be sure to get them in here to me. Um, and I want to send a special shout out tonight before we go any further to one of our most faithful listeners and supporters of the show, um, Robert Matthews and his wife Kathy, who are very important people. I've been friends with Robert for a long time and Kathy for a long time too. Kathy has had some surgery done, and nothing emergency, but we still want to send a special prayer out for Kathy that everything's going good. Everything went good. I messaged Robert and we talked back and forth. Uh, but yeah, everything went good, and hopefully Kathy will be home soon. Guys, we appreciate you. We appreciate you supporting the show like you do, Robert. Robert's always in here when we do something. He's always got a question and always got a comment, and he knows I love when people start commenting and get going in here. But want to get that done before the show starts. So it's what, July 11th. So we're a week after the 4th, and man, the 4th was the day my daughter's car went. Well, it didn't go kaput. It was really nothing major, but July 4th was different than it has been. I guess I'm not into the firework thing anymore. I like it, but I'm not really into it. So birthday today, legendary guitarist and former member of Bon Jovi, who keep your fingers crossed that he'll be back in Bon Jovi before long, because I think as far as songwriting goes, since Richie Sambora has been gone from Bon Jovi, the songwriting has not been good. The material, in my opinion, and some of you people out there that are Bon Jovi fans, bigger Bon Jovi fans than me, yeah, it hasn't been good, and it kind of, I guess you can't still, and I know you can't still write songs at the age they're at now, like they did back when they were in their 20s and 30s. But I guess that, and I know that would be a little cringy, but some of this stuff, especially the last album, I'm sorry, it was terrible. It was terrible. I will never listen to that again. Bon Jovi 2021, will never listen to that again. It was depressing, and that's not what you want to listen to when you hear a Bon Jovi album. You don't want it to be depressed. It's supposed to bring you up. It's supposed to make you forget about the depressing stuff. And I know that there's a time when you want to get political. Don't the whole freaking album? Pretty much that whole freaking album was political, and it was depressing. So yeah, I hope if he does new material that it will be a little bit different this time, but we'll see about that. And where did I set my Stevie? Look, and it's right here. On this day in 1987, guess what was number one on the U.S. singles chart? And it kind of segues into what our main topic is about tonight. Heart, Alone by Heart, was number one on the back. One of my favorite songs ever. I won't say where that would be on a top 10 list, because I'm going to save that for a future episode. But that song, I mean, what can you say about that? That's one, to me, it's like a perfect song. I mean, you've got the piano intro, and then when it just kicks in and gets heavy, oh man, I still get, watching the video to this day, I still get goosebumps when I got them right now thinking about it. But yeah, Heart, and I heard some people talking. And by the way, I want to send a shout out to my fellow group. This group has come along, and it's been right, just what the doctor ordered for me. The Boom Crew group on Twitter. I want to send a shout out to those guys up there, because every morning you get a message from somebody in there, and it's talk of music talk there, and it's actually going to be, we're actually going to have a few of them from time to time on the show to just BS about music, to talk about what's going on in the music world. Because I was sitting there the other day while I was out on my run, and there was messages coming in, and I was sitting there thinking, this is what I want to talk. This is how, and I said, this is exactly what I want, like at least one show a month on my pocket. Okay, Facebook user, what's up, bro? Who is what's up, bro? Oh, it says it's Facebook user, so you have to identify yourself. Whoever it is, what's up? We're good. Everything's good in Alaska, the metropolis. But yeah, that's the Boom Crew group. Was put together. Probably I got added to it. I don't know if it was put together last week or this week or whatever, but I got added to it, and I was like, wow, I instantly got along with all these people. What's up, David? David Richmond in the house, um, from Sports Objective. If you guys check the Sports Objective podcast out, we'll get to that later on as far as podcast recommendations. But David's a good friend as well. Um, yeah, Heart alone. I mean, what can you say? That was Ann and Nancy Wilson, and you hear the rumors now that they are working on new material together. I can't wait to hear that. I hope they have patched over the differences, and you know, at least give it one more go of it, maybe one more tour as Heart, and together. But yeah, Alone is, like I said, one of my favorite songs ever. I remember Bad Animals. That Bad Animals album is, everybody talks about the self-titled album, and then I know they don't. The Wilson sisters don't like to talk about that era. They were like, well, we were puppets. Well, guess what? That gave you a lot of success. Those that stretch of albums with the self-titled, with Bad Animals and Brigade, gave you a lot of your success and got a lot of people to become Heart fans like me, and went back and discovered your back catalog and like those songs too. But I do prefer the 80s version of Heart. I mean, that was right in my wheelhouse. But yeah, it's Heart, July 11th, 1987. Just think, guys, that has been whew, 36 years ago. Wow. I am getting old, dude. I am really getting old. Um, it's, we had some sad news this week, and while I pull up the story, um, Ozzy Osbourne, who has dealt, everybody knows Ozzy has gone through health problems. Um, he's had some times that probably some things that happened to him that probably should have killed him, but he's still around, and that's another guy, that another artist that I'm a big fan of is Ozzy. But he's he's aging, and as we all are. But he had planned on playing a festival, this Power Trip festival, and unfortunately, he announced that was going to be in California. He announced earlier this week in a statement that said, "As painful as this is, I've had to make the decision to bow out of performing on Power Trip in October. My original plan was to return to the stage in the summer of 2024, and when the offer to do the show came in, I optimistically moved forward. Unfortunately, my body is telling me that I'm just not ready yet, and I'm much too proud to have the first show that I do in nearly 5 years be half-assed. The band that will be replacing me on Power Trip will be announced shortly, which that ended up being Judas Priest. They are personal friends of mine, and I can promise you that you will not be disappointed. Above all, I want to thank my fans, my band, and my crew for their unconditional loyalty and continual support. I love you all, and I will see you soon. God bless, Ozzy." Now, I don't know how many of you are Ozzy Osbourne fans. Yeah, Robbie Brown, and oh my God, I'm really old. Yeah, we are old, bud. We are getting there. I'm about to go over the hill. I don't know how many of you are Ozzy Osbourne fans, but if you've ever watched him on stage, he goes around stage a lot, and over the years, it's surprising me, at that age, that how good a shape he was in. Watching and seeing pictures and seeing him walking with a cane and stuff like that. You hate to say it, but maybe I don't. I don't think his body's going to ever tell him that he's in good enough shape to do a major tour. Um, I had a message come in from somebody that when I posted the the story about this, that just bow out gracefully. And maybe it's time, as much as I hate to say it, maybe it's time for Ozzy to bow out gracefully. If you want to do Um, if you want to do new music, that's great. That's fine. Don't risk your health and don't push it to where you do something to harm yourself, do more good harm than good with yourself as far as being on stage and doing a tour. Because you know, how old is Ozzy? Ozzy's got to be in his. I know he's in his 70s. 1948. Whoo, 75 years old. He'll be 70. He'll be 75 in December, so he's 74 now. Um, yeah, and Ozzy is had a rough life. He's put himself through a lot with between drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. So the fact that this guy's still around is amazing, and we need to really celebrate it. The fact that he's still around, and if he plays a couple of songs at a show here and there, that's fine. That's great. But man, if you don't think, if your body's telling you right now you can't do a show, a festival, or something like that, then maybe it's time to consider it. I mean, I don't. I would love to keep, yeah, a lot of artists and bands should retire right now. You're right. There's a lot of them that people my age that we grew up with or seeing that, yeah, they might need to retire and give it up. Maybe just do some music, do some one offs every once in a while. But yeah, Ozzy, I will always be a big. I mean, I got into. I know Robbie Brown said he's been an Ozzy fan since Crazy Train. I was a little bit later than that. I got into it with Ultimate Sin when I heard "Shot in the Dark." I actually saw the video on Friday Night Videos because we didn't have MTV. We didn't have cable where I live in this little town where I live. Still, cable has never come to this town. Direct TV, and now, of course, we've got the high speed internet we can stream. So, cable never came to this town. Um, yeah, I mean, it's sad, but we're gonna have to deal with it more and more. I mean, didn't Elton John just do his last concert the other night? I believe he did. Maybe I'm. No, I did not. Whoever that is, I think it's David. I did not see how much that tour made. I just that's we're on the same page. How much did it make? I mean, tell me because I know he finished up. He finished up the other night. How much did it make? I'm sure it was up there. And you got Elton John, of course. Kiss is doing their farewell tour, the end of the road tour. So they didn't call it a farewell tour because they did a farewell tour, what, 20 years ago, 20 some years ago, and yeah, they're still going. 900 million. Good lord, jeez, that's insane. Yeah, Kiss did their farewell in 2000. Yeah, $900 million. That is insane. Mm. But yeah, I mean, you know, with these artists, you're not going to get a chance to see them anymore. Or some of them, some of them have done so many. And somebody made a good point the other day. Why do these bands keep coming back from uh, these so-called farewell tours? Who should retire? Well, Kiss is. I mean, this is a Kiss shirt, an official Kiss shirt from the 1996 reunion tour, and I'm telling you, they're doing it at a right. They're probably doing it too late. Yeah, look, Foreigner, Aerosmith, exactly. Um, what was that band? Kicks. I mean, they're not a household name. That's just somebody that popped in my head. There will be more coming, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, yeah, the Eagles. I mean, yeah, you think about it, guys. These guys are in their 70s, and as much as we think about, gosh, it would be awesome to be able to get up on stage every night and sing and play for all these people. But these guys have been doing it for God knows how long. It's got to get old. And Kicks was formed about 15 miles from where you're at. That's right. You're in Pennsylvania, right, Robbie? Kicks, the three songs that I remember the most about Kicks, and I don't know how many Kicks fans we got out there. Rolling Stones, Rolling Stones will never retire. They'll never retire. It will take Mick Jagger passing away before they quit. Kicks had "Blow My Fuse," "Cold Blood," and "Don't Close Your Eyes." That was the three songs I remember most from Kicks. Um, so while we're talking, I want to talk about my favorite band from Canada, Cool Kids. I'll have to listen to Cool Kids. My favorite band from Canada, the official house band of On the Fly, Tame and Sorry. It's Warren Meredith, who has been three times on this show. He's a three-timer. Him and Noel Tolan are the only three-timers guests on this show. They had a big show this past Sunday night, the RBC Royal Bank Blues Fest, which had some incredible artists there, and they were a part of it. I got to message back and forth with Warren a little bit before and the uh, after the show, and he's actually going to come on the show and talk about what they're doing. They got some new music out, and talk about that experience. I mean, they had Shania Twain was there, Foo Fighters, Weezer, Robert Plant. There was lots of big acts there, and they were a part of it. This was big for Tame and Sorry, and they did not disappoint. From what I hear and the reading the reviews, they were spot on. So they also got a new drummer in the band. So uh, they're getting used to him. But yeah, Tame and Sorry, you better keep your eyes on Tame and Sorry. Keep your eyes and ears open for Tame and Sorry. I think you're gonna see something big coming out of them. And like I said, Warren will be back on the show again this month, and we'll be talking to him about all things Tame and Sorry and music. And Warren's always, just a great guy. We really enjoy talking to Warren all the time. Um, Also, on this day in 1987, I sure should have worn my shirt. Um, what's that? Um, Good Morning, Miss Bliss, the TV show premiered on this day in 1987. I don't know if any of you out there will remember that show. What that show went on to be a big hit, but it was under another name. It had one season as Good Morning Miss Bliss, and then it went on to another show. And yeah, I was a diehard fan of the show. Matter of fact, it was that Good Morning Miss Bliss goes on to be called after season one, Saved by the Bell. Um, and I can tell you how Saved by the Bell was. We used to watch, yeah, we used to watch it. TBS used to show it in the mornings uh, after I first got married, and it would come on at 7 o'clock. And you know, me and my wife had that schedule. It wasn't what time is it. My wife would ask me. It would come on at 7 and 7:30, and my wife would ask me first or second show. And if I said second, she knew she had to get a move on, and she had to she had to get moving to go to work. It was always first or second. If it was first, she had a few minutes left, and but yeah, that was our schedule because we had Saved by the Bell on every morning when we were getting ready for work. But yeah, Saved by the Bell, that was that, and I mean all those shows like that on Saturday morning. Saved by the Bell, California Dreams, which we talked about, Jay Anthony Frankie a little bit, who was Jake Summers on California Dreams. Yeah, and I kind of did a little, went down a California Dreams rabbit hole over the weekend while my wife and my daughter were gone, and I watched like a bunch of episodes of California Dreams on YouTube, which, I mean, you gotta love it. You gotta love it, and just between that and Saved by the Bell, they were big. They were big back on Saturday mornings. The cartoons kind of went out, and these kind of shows came in, and I didn't think I would like. I was like, oh, it ain't a cartoon. I wouldn't like that, but I quickly found out I did like it. Became a big fan of both Saved by the Bell and California Dreams. So, yeah, on this day in 1987, a lot of things went on in 1987. On this day in 1991, probably the last appearance together of the Kiss lineup of Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Bruce Kulick, and the late great Eric Carr. I think it was at a Bill and Ted, the premiere for Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, which of course Kiss did God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too on that soundtrack. That was the big song at the end of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, which, I'm a big Bill and Ted fan. I was before that. Excellent Adventure was great. Of course, a lot of people didn't know at the time. I recognized her, but Jane Whelan from the Go-Go's played Joan of Arc in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And but yeah, the second one, when excuse me, when I saw the soundtrack, excellent. This is Deputy Van Halen down at the station. But yeah, when I saw the soundtrack for Bogus Journey come out, that made me want to see the movie even more, because Kiss was on the soundtrack, and I was like, wow, this is a new Kiss song, and which God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too was a remake, a cover, but they added different lyrics to it of an old Argent song, and ends up being on the Revenge album later on. But if you watch that video for God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too by Kiss, Eric Carr probably had no business being on that video. And granted, they lip sync and all that, but he's playing his butt off on those drums, and he had just gone through surgery. I mean, this is a, like, heart cancer. This is what he had, and he is. If you look at the pictures of him, you can't really tell watching the video, but if you look at the pictures, people took pictures there and see him. He's very pale, and but he wanted to be a part of it. He didn't want, that was just how Eric Carr was. And I didn't know him personally or anything like that, but just hearing the stories about him I have over the years, many stories, because Eric Carr is probably my second favorite member of Kiss. And it's not even close to, well, Bruce is number 3. And you guys are going to be shocked because Gene and Paul are down the list. I mean, it's been that way for a long time for me. Not that I don't respect them and I don't like them, but there's, Ace is my favorite member. Ace Frehley. I've always loved Ace. It's something, he's funny. He was, he could play watching him do those guitar solos, man. And I guess the space thing, Ace Frehley is my favorite member, Robbie. But, and when Eric came in, oh gosh, you didn't have internet. So you pretty much saw it at a magazine, and the magazines when you went to the grocery store, the drugstore. And then he was introduced in makeup. He was the Fox. He was introduced on that show that came on Saturday mornings. Kids Are People Too. Now, whoever thought, when you watch Kiss when they first started and they had the demon, and they were like, people were scared of it. Kiss, Knights in Satan Service, whatever. Give me a break. that they would be introducing a member of their group on Kids Are People Too on Saturday morning. That's pretty. I mean, but yeah, I remember sitting down and watching that show that day when it came on, and Eric's makeup was was one of the coolest out of any of them. But he always seemed like that funny guy, down to earth guy, and he played I mean, when Creatures came out, it was so great. Creatures, and then the way he plays the drums on the Forever video. I mean, I'm like, to this day, I love that. That is my favorite part. My favorite part of that song, Forever, is him playing the drums, the Bruce's solo, and the rest just fit in after that. But yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't long after he made this appearance that he passed away. Passed away to November 24th, I think. The same day Freddie Mercury, the lead singer for Queen, died. So, all right. So the main thing, our main event tonight. Who really invented the power ballad? And this was a song that came. I shared in the On the Fly Facebook group. Um, who really did? I mean, it says love songs, heartbreak songs, and other sentimental pieces of music have existed for centuries. But which rock band really crafted this type of song that has inspired so many others after it? Was it Queen? No. Journey? Or did the popularity of Motley Crue's Home Sweet Home pave the way for a wave of bands to create their own hit ballads? Now, if I'm answering that question, I'm saying Home Sweet Home paved the way, because after that, Home Sweet Home, we talked about this so many times on the show. Home Sweet Home was like the perfect power ballad. And I know I'll get people disagreeing, oh, whatever, but it sucked and all this. But that song on Dial MTV went back when you could vote on which videos made the top 10 on Dial MTV. It was so popular they had to retire it. You couldn't vote for it after a while. And the video set a trend there for like people on the road. I know Journey had done it with Faithfully, but Motley Crue just took it to another level. And nobody, I know I didn't expect it. When I got into Motley with Shout the Devil, and then I was eagerly awaiting Theater Pain. I mean, I've been reading every month in Hit Parade or Circus about next album's coming. Then, of course, with Vince Neil gets in the fatal car wreck and that kills Razzle from Hanoi Rocks, and you don't know what's going to happen. But then it comes out, and you're looking at the cover. I'm looking at the cover, and I'm like, the way they're dressed on the cover is like a complete turnaround from what they look like at Shout the Devil. It was from dark stuff and black and flames and all this stuff on the cover to now you got lace and purple, but it fit. It happened. And I mean, Home Sweet Home to this day, I listened to that song so much I could sing the harmonies and I could sing everything to it. But yeah, Home Sweet Home I think that paved the way. What is a power ballad? A quick Google search will tell you that a power ballad is a slow rock song with a strong emotional vocal delivery and typically a grandiose production. Urban Dictionary, on the other hand, describes a power ballad as an emotional hard rock heavy metal song, often with a slow tempo, dramatic sung vocals, and many instruments, including acoustic ones and synthesizers. Power ballads usually start soft, then heaviness builds up with drums and heavy electric guitars. Now, after the Motley Crue Home Sweet Home, you started seeing all these bands on the next album. They had a formula where they would release, like if they release singles, the first one would be an upbeat song. It'd be like something a rocker. The second one would be their ballad, and everyone had a ballad. Usually, if you bought a CD or a cassette, and they had, what I miss the most about it, not having hard copies of the liner notes with the lyrics in there, and you could go through there without even listening to the songs and read the lyrics and know which one was the power ballad. And sometimes you might get two power ballads, and I'm a sucker for a ballad. I love a good power ballad. Um, one of the when this is what I'm reading Livewire's article. One of the most well-known power ballads that was incredibly influential within the rock world is one that we mentioned earlier, Motley Crue's "Home Sweet Home." Included on the band's 1985 album Theater of Pain, "Home Sweet Home" stood out greatly in Crue's catalog of bluesy hard rock tracks, and once it became a smash hit on the radio and MTV, every hair band wanted one of their own. Q, Poison's "Every Rose Has Its Thorn," Cinderella's "Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone," Whitesnake's "This Is Love," Guns N' Roses' "November Rain," and many more. I mean, but before Motley Crue released "Home Sweet Home," there were plenty of rock artists releasing power ballads, including Scorpions, Journey, REO Speedwagon, and more. So the Theater of Pain anthem couldn't have been the true originator of the power ballad. Furthermore, rock artists weren't the only ones that decided to showcase their softer side in their music once power ballads became popularized. Metallica's "Nothing Else Matters," Pantera's "Cemetery Gates," Ozzy Osbourne's "Mama, I'm Coming Home," which I love. It's one of my favorite Ozzy songs, and Slipknot's "Snuff" are some examples of power ballads by metal artists. So, who really invented the power ballad? According to a few different sources, including Detroit Metro Times, Styx's "Lady" from their 1973 sophomore album 6-2 is often regarded as the first true power ballad. The track was written by the group's former vocalist and keyboardist Dennis DeYoung and for his wife Suzanne Fousey. The hardest thing in music business to have is your first hit, the hardest. The first song I ever wrote and sang by myself on a record was "Lady." I wrote that song for my wife. We'd married in 1970. It was 1972. I wrote about the things I knew. So let me ask you this. If Styx, that came out in 72, what about Freebird? What would you consider? And I mean, you take away, and I guess you can't take away the ending part, but from the start, is it Freebird what you would consider a power ballad? I mean, I know it gets really upbeat at the end of it, and that came out in '74, so that was after Lady. I would, yeah. Robbie Brandon says it's a power ballad. I agree. I think it's a power ballad. I mean, it's upbeat at the end, and that was we used to have we used to have like dances at our school, and it was every dance you knew when the dance was about to be over because that DJ would play Freebird, and it was so long. That was the one you wanted to be dancing with somebody you really liked. Uh, because you didn't want to be stuck with somebody, if the girl you really liked or the guy you really liked got asked by somebody else, and then all of a sudden somebody you didn't want to dance with come and ask you, Freebird was not the song to be stuck with somebody with, but that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, power ballads, that's going to be something we probably need to do a bracket on. And I apologize, guys. I know I have my Billboard bracket out there on Twitter that I have not finished yet, and I will get to that. I promise you. It's just been cuckoo, like I said. But um, yeah, Freebird, I would consider a power ballad. What are the? Let me see here. What would you consider your top 5 power ballads of all time? And I can't spell for some reason. Yeah, we were just talking about Tuesday's Gone tonight. Um, we were eating. I cooked some steaks tonight, really good steaks. If you want some good steaks, go to Rich Square Market. Shameless plug. Um, we were watching a tribute to Leonard Skinner. They were doing, Slash, one of the guys from ZZ Top, Paul Rogers, who had no business singing "Sweet Home Alabama." I'm sorry, I love Paul Rogers, but he was singing "Sweet Home Alabama." It was so many. It was like an all-star cast, and singing in the background vocals was Winona and Leanne Rhymes. And then it got me thinking about, there was a Leonard Skinner tribute album that came out back in the '90s, I think, and Winona did "Tuesday's Gone," which was really good. Um, the, this is loudersound.com, who has their top 40 power ballads of all time. Badfinger, Without You, never heard of it. Eric Carmen, All by Myself, I wouldn't consider that a power ballad. Bryan Adams, Heaven, love Bryan Adams. Boston, Amanda, I love that song. Amanda is a great song. Brad Delp, rest in peace. Um, Queensryche, Silent Lucidity. Yeah, that's a freaking awesome song too. One of my favorites. Winger, Miles Away. Great. It's much of crap. Let me tell you guys, as much crap as Winger catches from the whole Metallica, Beavis and Butthead thing, Winger was a great band. And if you haven't listened to the new album, Seven, I just started listening to it on the album challenge. Need to go check it out. So far, it is good. It's really good. I'm maybe not quite halfway through, but Winger 7, great album so far. Alias, More Than Words Can Say. I do remember that. Choice Lyric, I Need You Now Before I Lose My Mind. The Darkness, Love is Only a Feeling. I don't know that song. Quarter Flash, Harden My Heart. I consider that like a pop, though. I remember Quarter Flash. Cinderella, Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. That has kind of fatigued for me over the years, but I like, if I had to pick between that and Nobody's Fool, I'd go with Nobody's Fool. Nobody's Fool was freaking awesome. Warrant, Heaven. That was a great one. Great power ballad there. Janie Lane was so great. Let's see. 29, Thunder. Love Walked In. I've never heard of it. Never heard of Thunder. Sorry, Thunder. God of Thunder. Europe, Carrie. Great power ballad. Love that one. Toto, I Won't Hold You Back. That's a good one. Styx, Lady. I like Babe better. Slaughter, Fly to the Angels. Oh yeah, great. Mark Slaughter, great voice. Uh, he had some better. There were two better ballads to me on Vinnie Vincent Invasion. All Systems Go. Uh, Love Kills and That Time of Year. I don't know if you consider That Time of Year power ballad, but whew, great song. Cheap Trick, The Flame. That was a good one. Share. I found someone. I don't consider that a power ballad. Kiss, Reason to Live. I do like Reason to Live. Choice lyric from that: I sailed in dark and endless nights and made it alive. Skid Row, I Remember You. Yeah. I mean, and like I said, guys, this was the time, especially with like Skid Row and Warrant, when they come out, you were going to get a power ballad on every album. And record companies were signing anybody that had long blonde hair, the lead singer with long blonde hair, long brown hair, and that could sing a power ballad. That was going to happen. So on to the next page. Peter Cetera? What? Louder Sound. Yes, I love What Happened to Jane. I love that. I think they said that was about Jane's master. Why is Peter Cetera Glory of Love on a power ballad? That was from Karate Kid too, but that doesn't belong. What? Cher and Peter Cetera on a power ballad group? No. Bad English, When I See You Smile. Yeah, that was, the Journey collaboration with John Waite from the Babies. They had some, yeah, they had some good songs. Mr. Broken Wings. That's that's pop. I'm sorry. That's pop. Sorry, that's not what I consider a power ballad. 17, Motley Crue, Home Sweet Home. Oh my gosh. Way too high, way too well, it should be higher on the list. Number 16, Foreigner, I Want to Know What Love Is. That's a good one. Okay. Asia, The Smile Has Left Your Eyes Above Home Sweet Home. Give me a break. Nothing against Asia, but Velvet Revolver, Fall to Pieces. That's a good song. Scorpions, Wind of Change. Choice lyric, Let Your Balaka Sing What My Guitar Wants to Say. Night Ranger, Sister Christian. Um, I like Sister Christian. I really do. But yeah, LA Guns Ballad of James should be on this list. I don't know if it'll make it. There's two songs that Night Ranger did that I like better than Sister Christian. One was Sentimental Street, and the other was When You Close Your Eyes. I mean, Sister Christian is still good, but I think that's got a little fatigue. Ozzy Osbourne, Mama, I'm Coming Home at number 11. All right, so now we get into the top 10. And the fact that they've got Motley Crue at 17, Home Sweet Home, still bothers me. Bon Jovi, Always at number 10. Okay, I can go along with that. Def Leppard, Love Bites at number 9. That is a great power ballad. I mean, you sit there and I guess when you listen to it more as an adult, you hear the lyrics of the song. When he starts off with, when you make love, do you look in your mirror? Who do you think of? Does he look like me? I mean, that's strong right there. Leroy Jenkins. I can tell Robert's here. Let's see. REO Speedwagon, Can't Fight This Feeling. That's pop. I mean, REO Speedwagon to me is pop. And hold on, guys, my freaking okay. White Snake at number 7 with Is This Love? Yeah, that's pretty good. I did like that. But there was the next album, not the 1987 album, but the next album, Slip of the Tongue. Now You're Gone from Whitesnake, when they put the super group together with Steve Vai, Adrian Vandenberg, Rudy Sarzo, I think Tommy Aldridge on drums, and David Coverdale, of course, leading the way. That Slip of the Tongue was a great album to me. 1987 was really good. But yeah, Slip of the Tongue was one I really liked. Of course, the aforementioned at number 6, Heart, Alone. Choice lyric, I never really cared until I met you, and now it chills me to the bone. There, kids listen to this nowadays. There's what is it? I'm trying to think of the lyric in my head. I hear the ticking of the clock. I'm lying here. The room's pitch dark. I wonder where you are tonight. No answer on the telephone. I'm like, the Cult. Ciao, baby. I've never listened to the Cult much. Maybe I need to check them out. Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Nothing against Meatloaf, but that does not need to be at number 5. I know this is somebody's opinion, but no. Guns N' Roses, November Rain. I mean, that was epic. The freaking video, oh my gosh, it was like a movie. You wanted to see more of it. You wanted to understand what happened, how she died. I know that was like was it like a trilogy between Don't Cry, November Rain, and Estranged. Wasn't that like a trilogy? It was supposed to all hook together. But yeah, it was November Rain was great. He does talks about the video. Let's see. Uh, it's as sad and brittle as holding a dead bird in your hand. Remember the accompanying video depicting Stephanie Seymour's funeral. It's hard to hold a candle in the cold November rain. Journey, Open Arms at number 3. I can go along with that with Steve Perry. I mean, what do you have to say? I like this next song, but I don't think it needs to be above some of the other ones. Poison, Every Rose Has a Thorn. I remember, going to see them in concert on that Open Up and Say Ah tour when that was big, and just wanted to hear that. But yeah, I know a lot of people give it crap and give Bret Michaels crap, but I don't. I like it. I like it. And number 1, and I don't agree with this at all. Aerosmith, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, from the Armageddon soundtrack. Diane Warren helped out with this one. I'm not buying this at number 1. Loudersound.com. I'm sorry. This is a BS list. I will make a list and see how that gets, because there's no way Home Sweet Home should have been 17 with some of these. And no way Peter Cetera and Cher should have been on a power ballad list. Jeez. Sorry. Anyway, so that's I saw that article today, and I wanted to get up here and talk about what is a power ballad. So, last but not least, we did, and I don't know if you guys are on, if you listen to your music on Apple Music, if you listen to it on Spotify, but I made a playlist, the debut playlist of On the Fly playlist, 10 songs, and it goes anywhere it could be all over the place, guys. It'd be country, pop, rap, heavy metal, whatever you want to listen to. But these are 10 songs that I like, and I put it, week after, I'm trying to do this week after week. This has been a couple weeks ago. I shared it, and I'll go over this is the playlist number 1, and then I'll talk about number 2, which I just put up on Apple Music, and I'll put up on Spotify soon. Number 1, and you can find this on Spotify and on, of course, it led off Detroit Rock City from Kiss. People Are Crazy from Billy Currington. One Night Love Affair from Bryan Adams. Make It Real from the Jets. Ride Like the Wind from Christopher Cross. Told you this is going to be all over the place. Rolling Sevens from Dirty Honey. If you haven't checked out Dirty Honey, do that. And this will give you. These are some of my favorite songs, and this will give you a chance. Like, if you haven't checked out some of these artists before, this will give you a chance to check out these lists. Put this 10 song list on shuffle and see how you like it. Ain't That Lonely Yet by Dwight Yoakam. Limbo from my girl Noelle Tolan. Uma Thurman from Fall Out Boy. And then You Dropped the Bomb on Me from Gap Band. That was number 1. So we didn't get a chance to unveil that. So tonight I'm unveiling playlist number 2, and I'll share this on the Fly Facebook group and on Twitter. Of course, we lead off, and this is one thing you're going to find out. I'm going to probably be leading off a lot of these with a Kiss song. The Rock and Roll All Night, the live version from Alive 1 from Kiss. Then Chris Jericho and Fozzy with Judas, which, if you haven't heard Judas, that's a good workout song right there. Walk Away Joe from Trisha Yearwood. I mean, what can you say? Better Than You. This is a song I heard back in the 90s, and it's a poppy song, but I like it. Better Than You by Lisa Keith. Then we go with my boy LL Cool J with the Booming System. That's from my buddy Kevin Harrington. We used to always, in his car, he used to always play that Booming System sound. That Smell from Leonard Skinner. Love that. Love, not that smell. Love Leonard Skinner. Take a Bow from Madonna. Changes from Tesla. Drift from a past guest of the show and probably will be on again. Drift from local talent Martin Terry. And then of course we end up with Master of Puppets from Metallica. So that's playlist number 2. Like I said, if you can check it out, I will be sharing the Spotify and Apple Music, my playlist. I'll share that where you can just go on there, click it. If you're on Spotify, excuse me, or Apple Music, you can check it out, guys. But yeah, I just want to get, and I've got like the next 4 already drawn up. But if you've got a playlist, like if you've got 10 songs that you think I would like, make a playlist, send it to me, share it in the Facebook group, guys. That's what it's there for. You guys, it doesn't have to be just me posting in there. You guys share stuff in there that you want to talk about or you want to get people's opinions on. That's what it's there for. Let's see. What else have we got before I go? I think we talked about everything. We will be doing more updates like these. This actually could be like a podcast episode, to tell you the truth. And we'll do this for the Final Score too. Football season is close. It's getting so close, and I'm working on team by team previews, guys, and we'll do that. And we'll do some other stuff. Like I said, interviews coming up. We got a lot going on, really. And but everybody out there that comment, Robbie, Robert, David, Heel Bevins, everybody that commented or liked us tonight, we appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that. If you haven't, give a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, wherever. Please do that. It helps me more, and it'll get my name out there more. And when I approach some of these artists about maybe doing an interview, and they see that I've got 5-star reviews, so many 5-star reviews, it helps. It does make a difference when they're looking to see what I do. We've got some great reviews, and the ones out there that done it, I really appreciate it. But if you haven't, it'll take you like 5 minutes. It doesn't cost a thing. And that'll help me more than you know. If you want to give some money, I'm all for it. But no, I'm just messing. Yeah, next week we'll do another playlist, and we'll talk like this again. Robert, I hope Kathy does well. We talked about Kathy earlier. We definitely pray that everything keeps going well for her. And I will be singing Limelight tonight at 11:30. Limelight by Rush tonight at 11:30, and it will be on continuous loop till 1 o'clock in the morning. If you guys want to check that out, if I did that, good Lord, it would put some people to sleep. It probably make some people want to come shoot me, but I probably want to shoot myself if I had to sing a Rush song. But anyway, but yeah, next, like I said, guys, get ready. We'll have another episode coming out probably tomorrow on both the Final Score and On the Fly. So make sure you subscribe so you can be alerted every time that we come out with another episode. And Robbie Brown had asked me about, I don't ever get notified when you're on live, so I'm trying to do better with that. That when I go live, because a lot of times it's spur of the moment, but if I go live, I will let you know that I do. I'll tag everyone in the group, and hopefully that'll get some more people in here. Guys, Facebook group, let's get some more members in there if you can. Please, if you like what you see in the Facebook group, share. Get some people, get some of your friends that would enjoy like the stuff that we talk about, and the stuff that we talk about in the group, in the Facebook group, and all that, let them know, hey, you need to check this out, and all they have to do is click a click on there, and they can join right up, and it's not that aggravating. I don't think nobody's really complained about it so far. And special shout out, like I said, to I hope they're watching. Some of them are watching on Twitter. My Boom Crew group. Hope you guys are watching, and look forward to hearing from you guys. You guys sometime tomorrow morning, I'm sure. It's a wake up call. It's just like a wake up call group. But guys, thank you so much. I can't say it enough, and we really appreciate you guys supporting the On the Fly and the Final Score. And like I said, we've got some big stuff coming up, some new stuff coming up, and can't wait for you guys to hear it. You guys have a great night. That's going to do it for On the Fly and the Final Score.